are Keith Harris, left, and Josh McDermitt in The Walking Dead. Gene Page AMC. Eugene is tremendously bright but lacks emotional intelligence, an easily exploited combo. A majestically mulleted survivor, he speaks in a florid manner somewhere between professorial and Twain-like, talking circles around gruffer, terser company. He's demonstrated a shrewd skill for preservation, both of himself and of the group, a talent that went unappreciated among the militia and motivated his defection to the Saviors. Early in this week's episode, Negan doles out a rare morsel of praise for Eugene's beautiful brain, offering the precious gift of a handshake as a token of respect. This place is about pooling and organizing strength, he tells Eugene, implicitly placing him within the trusted inner circle. Eugene is manipulated with surprising ease for someone so clearly smart, eagerly snapping up the first scrap of praise tossed his way. He's uniquely unsuited for the moral dilemma that this week's episode foists upon him, and this hour we see him start to crack under the pressure that one difficult decision causes. At the close of last week's episode, Eugene had started to connect the dots, revealing White as the mole in the Savior crew. He lands in a quandary where his intellect counts for nil, where only an approach guided by the ethics of feeling can solve this Hobson's choice. The variables in this equation don't make sense to him. They don't adhere to reason. Negan knows he's got a mole problem, and he can tell that Eugene knows more than he's letting on. Dwight also has an inkling that Eugene has pieced this puzzle together, and he can see that time's running out before Eugene does something uncharacteristically rash. Aggressively courted by two diametrically opposed sides, Eugene is terrified of committing to either side. This grants Josh McDermitt the opportunity to do some more substantive acting than the stoic Eugene usually allows, introducing some volatility and panic to a profile chiefly defined by composure. He fully breaks down in the episode's most resonant scene, terrified by the prospect of acting without the full assurance of his own rightness. He's not used to guessing. He's used to living with complete certainty. This is what real emotional stakes look like. Unfortunately, the episode fails to build much else of worth around the emotional center Eugene's plot thread provides. Even as Eugene ponders whether or not to snitch, the Hilltop Kingdom Alexandria alliance has begun to close in on victory. A dense concentration of zombies has trapped Negan and his squad in their stronghold, and resources, both food and manpower, have begun to run low. Tara, Michonne, Morgan and Daryl have yet another of this season's trademark disagreements over strategy, uncertain whether they should wait for Rick to return before they make their move on Negan's compound. "I believe in Rick Grimes," Rosita confidently declares, but urgency moves them to take swifter action. Michonne removes herself from the operation, and the team goes forward with a daring gambit to plow a truck through Negan's outer wall, allowing the zombies to pour in and do the work for them. True to form, Daryl takes the lead, tucking and rolling out of the truck just in time, though their victory may be Pyrrhic after all. Rick leads the only other portion of the episode that successfully hits the gravitas it aims for, two scenes that could have been airlifted from the series' earlier seasons. Which is to say that this is the first time in a long time that The Walking Dead has felt like the more widely enjoyed horror series it once was, rather than an endlessly protracted war saga. Rick has been taken prisoner by Jadis and the Scavengers after failing to recruit them as allies, and his captivity brings the series to a scene fans have eagerly awaited ever since early promotion for Season 8 include the image of a blinded, feral zombie with a crude crown of nails. Jadis forces Rick to square off against that marvelously designed demon in gladiatorial combat, and lo, it is good. The fight choreography hews closer to martial arts than to the series' usual slash-and-shoot techniques, and Rick's tactic of weaponizing the flesh-eater by wresting its leash from its handler makes for some sublimely gruesome carnage. After dispatching many of his scavenger captors and warning the remainder that they soon will get swept up in a conflict beyond their walls, Rick returns to his camp too late. His cohorts have moved forward without him, just the latest instance of tragic miscommunication. Staging the final shot as a dramatic reveal from Rick's perspective, complete with an ominous sound cue that all but instructs the audience how to feel, doesn't quite work, as the visual information on screen is new only to him and not to the audience. But maybe returning Rick to the spotlight will consolidate storylines and help this season find a sense of organization. The Walking Dead is sorely in need of a focused direction that can dovetail its characters' disparate arcs. A sense of rigorous structuring has been seriously lacking in a season that is, in no small way, about the challenges of coordinating elaborate group efforts. Excitement and poignancy have been discrete quantities in the 8th season, each time lasting for the duration of a scene without enlivening an entire episode. The most effective installments in this season have narrowed their focus to a single character. Likewise, this week's hour is at its best when digging into Eugene's fragile mental state. Negan calls for pooling and organizing when he sweet-talks Eugene, and that's advice the writers could stand to heed. A war has many fronts, but the show doesn't have two. A few thoughts while we survey the wreckage. Gabriel's life hangs in the balance as his body fights off infection. He doesn't say much, but that's fine. Gabriel provides Eugene with a non-responsive object at which he can rhapsodize, a technique employed to great effect in Deadwood that also opens a portal into a character's inner thoughts. Seems a bit off that Ezekiel would be entirely absent during a major operation that could potentially determine the welfare of the entire collected militia. That glaring omission seems to be yet another side effect of this program's having more characters than it knows what to do with. Correction: December 4, 2017. An earlier version of this article misidentified characters involved in two scenes. It was Rosita who said, "I believe in Rick Grimes, not Maggie." And it was Tara, not Maggie, who was involved in a disagreement over strategy with Michonne, Morgan and Daryl.